right. All right. Welcome to the long-awaited, not really, marathon recap. I just wanted to wait until I guess, was mentally in the mood. Not even like prepared. I just wanted to wait till I was like mentally in the mood to do a video recap. Just because I've been in the off season, as you know, these past few days, this past week, and I had just not been really wanting to think about anything. But yeah, I just want to do a quick little marathon recap. And you can kind of like get my thought process of the whole thing, how I'm feeling after it. And then after that, I want to talk about the next plans, the next season of John Training. Because there is a next season. So the marathon, quick recap. I did it October 19th, 2024, Baltimore Running Festival Marathon. That was my first marathon. I was targeting a sub 4-hour marathon, which I believed that I could hit. And I still believe it's possible if I make one change to my training, which I'll get into later. I finished at a official time of 16 hours, 6 hours, 17 minutes, and 2 seconds. Yeah. So, I mean, I was feeling really good though that morning. It was beautiful weather. I think it was like 50, like 52 or something, but the sun was shining. There was like no clouds in the sky. It was a nice little breeze, not too windy. So it was like absolutely beautiful weather, and that's a blessing for the day. Regardless of how it turned out, that's one thing that made it even more enjoyable for me. I got there like, I'd say an hour early, maybe like 50 minutes early. So I walked around, warmed up, felt good during my warm up. I had one of my Carbs Fuel gels, which I like. The Carbs Fuel gels, 50 grams of carbs and 200 calories per gel. I really think that helped me just with my energy throughout the day. And I think I'm gonna repeat that same fueling strategy for the next marathon I do. Spoilers, I'm gonna do another marathon. I'm planning on it. So Carbs Fuel, very good. I had one gel before the run, and then I used porta potties. Then I lined up. I tried to line up, but there were just so many people like already in the starting gate block area that I couldn't get next to the 4-hour pacers immediately, which I feel like maybe led me to one of my problems, but I waited. I think I got through the gate, through the entrance, maybe like a minute or two, maybe like 1 minute after the start of the gun. And immediately from the beginning, I tried fighting my way through the crowd up to the pacers, and which they had like signs holding up, like 4 hours, 350, just like that. And after maybe I'd say the first minute of me fighting my way through, I think all the pacers like lowered their signs or something because I couldn't find them. And so I was going way too fast. The first mile was an 8-minute 50-second mile. The second mile was 8-minute 49 seconds, and then the third mile was 9-minute 10 seconds, which I'll show you later. And it was not ideal because I was going too fast. I knew I was, and the first 4 miles, or maybe definitely the first 3-4 miles were all uphill, but it was a gradual uphill, so it wasn't that bad. I actually didn't really mind it at all. because it was such a long uphill. It was gradual, and eventually I found a group of pacers, and I just couldn't tell what group of what pace they were going at. One of the pacers actually had the time on the back of her shirt, which I didn't realize until I got right up behind them, but I didn't get up right behind them until later. I had thought they were like a 350 pace group because they were going at like a 350 pace. The average pace I was hitting at that point was 350. So I thought they were, or 850. I was hitting 8-minute 50-second per mile pace. So I thought that they were a 350 pace group. Turns out they weren't. Turns out they were the 4-hour pace group, and I guess they just started fast. And it wasn't really until mile 9 that they started evening out. I don't even think by mile 9 they're evening out. Only 1 mile, mile 3, did I actually hit 9:10, which was the correct pace. Every other pace I was hitting was faster. So I'll show here. I don't know how well you can see this. It may be a little fisheye worked, but the first, the first mile, lap 1, 1 mile, 850, so 850 pace. Mile 2, 849 pace. Mile 3, 910. Mile 4, 830. Mile 5, 840. Mile 6 was 9. Mile 7, 850. Mile 8, 853. Mile 9, 901. And this will be the only thing that I take other people into account, because everything, of course, is the product of your own choices and efforts. And of course, I could have slowed down to the pace I was supposed to go, but it also, I felt like I could hold that pace because I really felt like I could hold that pace. It wasn't a hard pace, even though my heart rate may show different, and I'll get into that a little later. But I feel like my heart rate, when you think Zone 2 running, when you think, maybe not Zone 2, but edge of Zone 2, Zone 3, where you're gonna be running a marathon, you would think your heart rate would be something more like 150, but my heart rate was like on average 165 through 165, maybe peaking at 170. And you would think your heart rate should be a little lower, but maybe this is just me, and I could be wrong, but anecdotally, I feel like my heart rate maybe is just, I just have a little bit of a better heart rate, max heart rate and heart rate zones, just because it didn't really feel like I was running that hard. I felt like I was running, definitely putting in effort, but I didn't feel like it was like hard effort. It wasn't like easy breezy pace, but I definitely felt like I could have held this pace through the whole marathon. Cardiovascular wise. Now, muscular wise and getting into these hills, that's a different conversation. But I did feel like if I'm gonna put any blame anywhere at all throughout this whole process, the only piece of blame I'll put is the 4-hour pacers were going a little fast. But of course, I could have slowed down on my own, but I liked running with other people because, or with the pace group, because it helped me stay in rhythm and on pace. So that's one thing. Then by mile 9, I started to notice cramps in my calves again. Around mile 9 is where I started to notice cramps in my calves during my half marathon, my last half marathon. And it happened again, but after about 2 miles of on and off, like kind of like slowing down on the running. Let's see here. Mile 10, yeah, it all went downhill after mile 9. Mile 10 hit a pace of 12:30 per mile on average. Mile 11, I hit a pace average of 13:04 per mile, and then mile 12, I hit an average of 12:37 per mile. And that was about the start of the end, pretty much. I was trying to stretch my calf out, my calves and my quads out around mile 10, I'd say. And it was not feeling good. Honestly, like, it wasn't even really my calves and my quads that were giving me problems. Right after that, right after stretching and all that, my left knee started actually hurting. And that's what killed my run. It wasn't really the cramping, unless the cramping created the knee pain, which could be possible. But yeah, it was around this time where it started to get bad. So, around actually mile 10 or 11, I saw one of my friends, and that was cool. He was running with his girlfriend. Shout out Griffin. One of Sheldon's friends mainly, but I know him too. And that was pretty cool, but it was really unfortunate because I wish I could run with them. And they were running like a slower pace than I was before. So like I could have kept up with them through the whole thing if my knee wasn't giving me a problem, and that could have been cool because we, could have ran the marathon with someone. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. After maybe a minute of running with them, I had to stop and stretch. My muscles were cramping up. A quick aside on cramping. While I was having a lot of electrolytes, I think the new science, like the most recent science, is that cramping really doesn't have anything to do with electrolytes. Mostly, I'm gonna put in my own thoughts. Maybe electrolytes do have something to do with cramping if you're very low on electrolytes, your imbalance is very imbalanced. But I'm pretty sure the newest science is just about, it's mostly like a muscular fatigue thing. As long as you have proper electrolytes. And that's what I also believe that too. The muscle cramping is understandable on this race because one, I was running way faster than I should have. I ran the first 9 miles of this race at the same pace that I ran the first 9 miles of my latest half marathon. And like, that's not even, and I ran that half marathon faster than I technically should have, I think. Not for cardio reasons, not because it was hard on my body, it felt like hard, but just because I guess my muscles are so unprepared for that. I think like genuinely, my problem is my leg muscles are not prepared to run the pace that my cardiovascular system is capable of running. So that's something that I'm going to be focusing on training in the next season. But that is ultimately, I believe, the cause of these muscle cramp problems. And a lot of that, I will say, not a lot, but a good amount of that I will say is due to my IT band, because if you watch consistently this training block for this marathon, I had plenty IT band issues, and that prevented me from doing a lot of the marathon pace workouts on my long runs that I wanted to. So unfortunately that happened. Yeah, I really just want to run faster because I feel like I can during these long distances, but yeah, my legs need a little work. So it was about mile 12 that I was just completely walking. I I mean, everyone was passing me at this point because I was in a much faster pace group than walking speed. Everyone that I was already ahead of was passing me. Did not feel great because I really thought my marathon was over at this point. I was legitimately like centimeters away from calling Tori and being like, I'm done. Like I'm mile 11, I'm mile 12 at this point. I'm not even halfway done, and I can't run. Like I tried running a little bit for like 10 seconds, and then my knee would hurt. Um, so I thought, I mean, 15, 14 miles. I'm not gonna be able to run that. I mean, I guess I could walk that, but like it's not how I want to do my marathon. So, and I was like, it could just be a huge waste of time. So that sucked. I passed the halfway point, still walking. And it was really mile 13 was like the darkest mile. If I were to label anything like that. Because, yeah, I felt like it was over. I definitely missed my goal of sub 4 hours at this point, and I definitely didn't feel like I was gonna finish at all. But I hadn't been listening to music at all yet, and I thought to myself, all right, maybe I'll put on some music and maybe it'll like help me push through. So I started putting on music. I was listening to funk. If you're a funk enjoyer, you know, good gym music. It's like the Russian like drifting music. I put that on, and yeah, kind of like lifted my spirits a little bit. But I tried to run, and I couldn't run. And I, at that point, like I was like, all right, like this is definitely it. I was really thinking, like, all right, where can I walk off the course, and then just call an Uber and like go home? Like, where can I, break off from the course without looking like I'm a cheater or something, like trying to cut through the course or anything, so I can pull off and just call an Uber and go home. And I kept walking, like thinking, like, yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna call it somewhere here. But I think I kept thinking, and it was a combination of thoughts. Some of it was the fact that I was already here. You only get to run your first marathon once, and I can make this a story of disappointment and defeat, or I can make this a story of perseverance and not giving up when it gets hard. That's one thing that definitely pushed me through. I definitely think when things are going your way, even if what you want is difficult, like you're running a difficult pace or you're running a difficult distance, if things are going your way, it still is mentally easy because everything is going the way you want it to go. But during this mile 13, the darkest mile, nothing was going my way. I think I was really given every opportunity to take a understandable did not finish status, DNF, but I thought, is that like who I'm gonna choose to be? Because it really was a choice in this situation. I definitely had the choice in my hand, and it was real. Right? Like it's a real choice you can make. So I decided that being given the opportunity to quit in this bad circumstance, I was gonna look at that opportunity and be like, I'm not gonna quit. So it was at this point I was pretty much like, all right, well, I got a 7 hour time limit. I calculated pace on my phone and how much time I had left, and I'm like, okay, um I have like 4 hours and 40 minutes left. 4 hours and 40 minutes to go 13 miles, about at that point. So I decided, all right, that's like almost 5 hours. That's like about 3.5 miles per hour, which is a little faster than 20 minutes per mile of walking. And I just decided, all right, I'm either gonna walk all the way to the end of the course, walk all the way to the finish line in 7 hours, or the straggler van is gonna pick me up and pull me out. But I'm not gonna willingly quit myself. And I don't know. I think definitely it's interesting to say, but I definitely think having this public platform on YouTube, even though no one really watches me, came into effect too because I do want to set an example of the kind of person I think people should be. Um, so I decided that I'm gonna do what I think is right and not give up. And there is definitely a point, if you're too injured, I definitely will say there is a point in which you can give up. I could have ran through the knee pain for sure, but at the cost of what? Like taking 3, 4, 5, 6 months off training just to nurse an injured knee. There is a balance. I will agree there is a balance that you have to strike. I don't agree that you should bash your head against the wall as much as possible to try and get your goal. I do think working smarter and working harder is something that you have to balance out. Because there will be other marathons, right? There will be other chances. You just have to find out how hard you need to push, how hard you can push, and what is worth forfeiting. I think it was worth forfeiting running that marathon, but I still had the opportunity in my hand to finish it. Even though I couldn't finish it, I still had the opportunity in my hand to do something about it. So that's what I chose to do. Yeah, it definitely sucked, like walking past all the people cheering, because they're like, yeah, like I guess they're expecting me to keep running after them cheering me and all that, but I would just walk past them because like I just couldn't run. And oh my gosh, that was so much walking. I'm officially tired of walking. I'm done with walking. Walking for 4 hours after already running for 2 hours is a lot. It is definitely a lot. And I didn't sit down once, actually. Fun little tidbit. I didn't sit down once to take like a break from my legs, because I thought that if I sat down then I would not get back up. So I walked the whole time. I did take some like stand still breaks, shake the legs out a little bit. But yeah, pretty much from mile 13 to mile 21, I was walking all by myself. And then around mile 21, you saw my vlog, I found this guy named Ivan, and he was also walking, and I was like, yeah, this kind of sucks. And we started chatting it up. And it was nice to have that company, just because, we could both understand what we were going through at that point. Like, this is like massive disappointment in ourselves, but a sense of pride, I think, and just a willingness to not give up, even though everything was pretty much lost at that point. He wanted to run sub 3 hours, um, which is a high goal. He did not get that far. I think he said he stopped walking around mile like 16 or 17, or he stopped running around mile 16. So I had been walking very fast. I had been walking very fast at that point. Um, and yeah, it was a lot of hills in the second half. I'm gonna be honest, the second half of the marathon, I could not imagine running that thing. Mile 16 to 21, not mile 16 to like the end was so many hills. I could not imagine running. Especially at the end, there was a lot of downhills, and I couldn't imagine running fast downhill after your legs have been pounded for so long. I feel like if I tried running downhill at the end, my legs would fall out underneath me, and then I'd fucking fall on my face. But yeah, we were just chatting. It's crazy. He told me that he had work right after the marathon, and he works as a server at a restaurant. And I don't know, man. I said if I were me, I would call out, but he said he liked, having money, so that's understandable. Good on him. Good on him for sure. But yeah, that was the marathon. At mile 25, one of his friends found him, and so they like ran off towards the finish line together, which is cool. But it was just me by myself at that point, and genuinely, when I saw the mile 26 marker, I got a little choked up. Not like teary or anything, but I was like choked up a little bit. Just because yeah, I didn't think I'd see that I didn't think I'd finish that day. It was nice to see there were still people out in the crowds after 6 hours cheering on people. And I felt like I had that duty to finish, just because I had met a couple other people along the course who were also like injured and in pain, and I'd been telling some people like we're gonna finish, we're gonna finish this thing. So I finished. The last straightaway, say the last 200 meters, there was a guy in the crowd who like ran next to me, and you saw that in the vlog. It was really funny. He was just trying to get me to jog my way to the end because I had been walking. And he was making jokes. He's like, don't let the pregnant man, beat you. And it hurt to run, but I did because I wanted to, I wanted to run through the end for sure. And then I got my medal. I sat down and it was over. I think the biggest thing that I'm gonna remember from the marathon, and I think really the most important reason why I finished is that I was given the opportunity to quit, and I didn't. And I think these choices you make, define who you are. And I really had that choice, and I think that's just who I am. I don't know. Who are you but a collection of your actions, right? Who are you but the summary of your life? I don't know. I think, despite everything, it was a great day. No stomach problems, no blisters, beautiful weather, beautiful day, great crowd, great course, really hard course, great people, great memories. So that was the Baltimore Running Festival Marathon 2024. Here, I'll give one more recap of all the laps. So, mile 1, 8:50 pace. Mile 2, 8:49. Mile 3, 9:10. Mile 4, 8:30. Mile 5, 8:40. Mile 6, 9. Mile 7, 8:57. Mile 8, 8:53. Mile 9, 9:01. Mile 10, 12:31. Did some stretching. I stopped to stretch. Mile 11, 13:04. Mile 12, 12:37. Mile 13, 20:54. That was my slowest mile because I did the most like slow trudging around and standing still and walking and standing still and stretching. Mile 14, I picked it up, 14:58 per mile. Mile 15, 15:25. Mile 16, 17:01. Mile 17, 16:23. Walking a little faster there. 18, 18:29. Mile 19, 17:49. Mile 20, 16:18. 21, 19:04. Mile 22, 17:45. 23, 19:24. 24, 18:25. Mile 25, 18:03. Mile 26, 18:47. Mile 20, 26.2, 16:23. So that was the marathon, and boy did walking hurt. Those last 3 miles were like the longest, most excruciating miles. Oh my god. Yeah. I think I do want to run that course at least one more time to get like a better time on that course. Because it is the Baltimore Running Festival. It's like the biggest marathon, one of the biggest marathons, I think, in Maryland. Not counting DC. DC has some pretty big marathons. But DC's on Maryland, so. Yeah. Yeah, my left knee, the left knee pain was interesting. Didn't really experience that anywhere, and I wonder if it had anything to do with my Nike Vaporfly 3s, which I had only ran in once before, but I had a fine time running in them. Another thing that I realized I didn't do during the marathon is one specific form thing. Do you remember? You might not remember, but in a few weeks ago, I had a series of vlogs where I was doing different form changes to try and figure out what was causing my IT band problems. And there was one form change that I think gave me more speed, just made me run more efficiently, more economically, and I was running a little faster. And it was emphasizing, rotating with my hips, pushing my hips back in each stride, and emphasizing on counter rotating with the shoulders. And that was a really good form change. And I think I know I really did not do that at all. I think I was running like a little tighter, I think. And what I had learned is running tighter like that can put more effort on your calves. Like an unnatural amount of effort on your calves, which may be partly causing what the problem is with my calves when I run, when I get cramped like that. Because I hadn't done that either. I just learned about that more recently. I hadn't done that either during my last half marathon, so it might be part of my form. Now, it's not completely all my form. I'm going to start getting into the section now of future John plans, future John training plans. What's the next season? What are we doing next? What are we doing next for this next season of training? Yeah, so what is this next season? Well, there is a feature on the Coros training app. I have a Coros Pace 2 watch. I really like it. I recommend it. Not sponsored though. Coros, shout out, sponsor me. It's called the fitness test, the Coros fitness test. And basically it's like a 30-minute running test that they put you through, and then they can, effectively find your they can more accurately test your training zones, your heart rate zones, your pace zones, stuff like that. And I've never done that before. I had never done that because it is more of a threshold like test, higher intensity test, and I didn't really have anywhere to put that in my training block because I didn't know. I just didn't really want to put that in randomly. So I think what I'm going to do now, because I have the time, I'm going to spend 5 weeks training back up, incorporating more 5K style of training, get my fitness up and my speed up, my VO2 max, and heart rate. Just get back up in the training, 5-week plan, and then at the end of the 5 weeks, in the beginning of December, I'm gonna do the Coros fitness test, and just see what stats I get, just for fun. Yeah. This is definitely just more like a just for fun thing. But it's cool to have like a baseline, because after that, starting in like early-ish December, I'm gonna start another one, December, January, February, March, 4-month training plan to do another marathon. That's right. There is something called the B&O Trail Marathon, I think. B&A. The B&A Trail Marathon, which is gonna happen March 30th. And it is a paved, I think it's paved. It's either paved or like really like, no, I think it's paved. I think it's a really long like paved bike trail. That's like completely straight, pretty much, and like very, very flat. And this marathon, you're pretty much just going down the trail, down back, or like past where you started, and then back up to where you start, and that's 26 miles. And it's just pretty much very straight and very flat. And it's at the end of March, so it's a little bit warmer, but it's not like hot yet. So it's kind of the perfect conditions for a fast marathon. Unlike the Baltimore Running Festival marathon course. And I want revenge, This past marathon was definitely not a showcase of my skills, but it was a showcase of my heart. And I'm glad I got that opportunity to show off, to show myself what I'm capable of in terms of heart and grit. But I also want to show myself and you guys who are watching my progress, I want to show my abilities and my skill too, because I think that's another part of running. It's like the other half of running. It's honestly like the main part of running, maybe. I mean, not really, but like trying to get a personal best in time is a huge part of why people run, and a huge part of running and just growing and getting better and all of that. And I'm curious too, like I want to give myself the perfect opportunity to have no interruptions and show myself in an opportune setting how fast can I run a marathon. So yeah, B&A Trail Marathon, end of March. I'm going to take that baseline Coros fitness test beginning of December, see what I'm at, And then from December to March, end of March, I'm gonna train for another marathon. Now I was debating, should I do one marathon next year or two? I was thinking my earlier plans were to separate the year into quarters and do a different race per quarter. So the first quarter, I'll do a 5K. I'll train for a 5K, 3 months, and then do a 5K race. Second quarter, train for a 10K, do a 10K race. Third quarter, train for a half, do a half marathon. Last quarter, train for a marathon, do another marathon. But I decided, like, I didn't want to do the same thing I did this year, which is train a whole year pretty much and put everything on one race, put it all on the one marathon, in which things can go wrong in any ways that you don't know, and which we found out. So I think I decided I want to do at least 2 marathons next year to give myself 2 chances to run a good marathon. And so, yeah, I'm going to run the BNA Trail Marathon next March, and we'll see what I do after that. But that's my plans. Recently, I've been hearing about the Runna app, RUNNA, the Runna app, which is just like a coaching app platform you get on your phone. It's just an app that you put in, like, what do you want to train for? I want to train for a 5K, or I want to train for my first 5K, or I want to train for a marathon. And it kind of it gives you a personalized training plan based on, it's not sponsored, by the way. It gives you a personalized training plan based on, like, you know, your current running abilities, like based on your current running PRs, how many miles a week you're running. And it really makes a pretty tailored plan. I downloaded the free trial just to look at the training plan it'll give you, and I thought it was pretty cool. The coolest thing, I think, is how tailored it can get to you. And let me just show you. So let's look at the plan overview here. Maybe if I turn the brightness down a little bit. So I got I just selected a 5K improvement plan. And right now, my current 5K time is 23:40, which is cool. I was able to update this plan based on my faster 5K PR. So it's telling me that in about 6 weeks, which is the time length I selected for the plan, I should be able to run a PR of anywhere from 22 and a half to 23:20 for my next 5K, which is interesting. And it kind of like translates that to, like, you know, the fitness you'll gain and how good that can be in other race distances. But honestly, the thing that I like the most is, like, the variation and the specificity of the workouts. Like, this 400-meter repeat day is going to be a 5.5 mile day. And I'll start off at 1.75 miles at conversational pace, and then I'll do quarter mile repeats at 7:05 minute per mile pace with a 60-second walking rest 10 times. And I'm like, that's pretty cool, because I think one thing that I've been heavily missing out on for my own training is, like, harder workouts, and more variable workouts that I think would push me harder in different ways. There's other days, like, there's a pyramid interval day. We start off at a 1.5 mile warm up, and then for 0.12 miles you run at 6:45 pace, so that's pretty fast. for 60 seconds, and then you build up. So you go to a quarter mile at 6:55, and then half a mile at 7:25, and then 3/4 of a mile at 7:40, and then 1 mile at 7:50, and then all these walking breaks in between, and then you go back down half a mile 7:25, quarter mile at 6:55, and then eighth of a mile at 6:45. I don't know how well you can really see this in the camera. That's why I'm saying it out loud, but I think these are just pretty cool because, yeah, they're gonna help push me in ways that I have not been able to really push myself just by myself in training. So I'm gonna, follow these training plans, and I'll repeat them again on the training days so you guys can hear what I'm doing. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah, the main thing that I'm going to focus on for this next marathon training block is doing just more speed work in the long runs. So doing more like marathon pace intervals in my long runs, just harder workouts to get the leg muscles used to just running at that pace, because the pace isn't a problem and the distance isn't a problem for the marathon. Personally, it is the pace at the distance which is the problem. Holding that pace for that long. So what I really need to do is a lot of long runs that are, I think, honestly quite long, with paces in them, interval paces of marathon pace. So that's the plan. Yeah, I think marathons are really tricky because they're so long where things can really go wrong at any point. I'm thinking, hey, maybe at the end of this training plan, I genuinely could run like a 350 to 345 hour marathon. But then we get to the same problem again where, like, is that too fast? Like, I don't know. And am I going to be able to hold on for that long at that pace? Like, should I shoot for even higher? Or should I just do the next training plan and then still hold back at 4, like just trying to get right under 4 hours? I don't know. Like, that's the problem with marathons, is they're so long. There is so many opportunities for things to go wrong. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, that's the next season. B&A Trail Marathon in end of March. I haven't signed up for it yet, but I think I'm gonna wait until the end of December to sign up for it, just to give myself a little bit more time and a little bit more training. And yeah, no need to sign up for it now. But that's how I've been doing. That's the next plan, and I'm excited to get this next plan going. So first thing we're going to start off with is a little 5-week training plan to get myself back up into there, into more speed work, and then do the Coros fitness test. Just see how that goes. Yeah, anyways, thanks for following me on this journey. I'm hoping it's giving you any sort of entertainment or inspiration, which is my goal. I suppose I'm doing this to hopefully inspire some people. Yeah. If you are enjoying this, if this is inspiring to you in any way, shape, or form, then thanks. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. You keep doing what you're doing. Just try and get a little better every day. That's the goal. Getting better than before. Always. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Knit elastic. I'll show you what I'm doing with this later. It's time for the Chili's review part of today's vlog. Brought to you by Mike Cabaret. Mike's a coworker. Oh. And I told him that we might go to Chili's this weekend.
and he was like almost on his knees begging me to go. He said like 4 times, John, please go to Chili's this weekend. He loves chili.
Oh,
Mike's a chili guy, and he told me like he hasn't gone in such a long time.
So he's gonna live vicariously through
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
He's gonna be like, all right, what'd you get for your appetizer?
Yeah, he like kind of like mentioned like his new daughter, his first child, and I was like, don't have kids because then they'll prevent you from going to Chili's. So this one's for you, Mike. This one's for you.
Wow. You want to hand me silverware? Thank you.
We got the
Oh, look, they did give us straws.
yeah, we got the mozzarella slabs, boneless wings, and Southwest egg rolls. Right there.
I feel like I gotta roll my sleeve. Is this like a... Oh, that is a, Why isn't your camera on? Oh, okay. That's like actually spectacular. God, I know this taste, but I can't.
Honey Chipotle boneless wing. Very good. And the breading is like really nice and like crispy but flaky, but not like too hard.
And it's really juicy.
Yeah,
They cooked it well.
the meat is really juicy.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I was
They
recording.
definitely rolled this bitch up and put it on the grill, bro.
Hell yeah.
That's nice.
Fajita. Burger. Burger review. We got the Santa Fe burger. It was good.
Sorry.
Not like amazing, but it's a good burger. How was the fajitas?
Things are happening. It's good. So it's same thing. Like
Yeah.
the most mind-blowing thing, no, but still solid and
Yeah.
yeah, very enjoyable. I'm not upset
yeah.
by spending money.
Yeah. But I'm very full though. I'm gonna take half my burger home. I'm gonna take the other half of the burger home because those appetizers are heavy. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, so what did I buy that elastic fabric for? This is my camera pendant. I can magnetically attach the camera to it. So it's the most convenient thing I have for when I go out on a run. So I can wear the pendant when I'm running. I can attach it. I can wear this under my shirt and attach it magnetically over my shirt. The main problem is when I am running with it, it flops around.
Here you go.
Yes, thank you very much. It flops around, and then it can get twisted, and it's just super, like, it's way too free. You know, it gets twisted up. Even with my camera on it, it gets like twisted up and all that. So, to make sure it stays close to my chest and make it easier to use and like way more comfortable, because when it gets twisted, when I'm running, it's flopping through my shirt and all that. Got this elastic fabric that we cut and Tori sewed up, and I'm gonna attach it to the back of this with like duct tape probably, or for now. I couldn't find the hot glue.
Yeah, I might have to look for it, but
Yeah.
I could also bring home a sticky dot from work.
Yeah.
Those are pretty hefty.
Yeah. But for now, duct tape, and then this strap will go around my chest, and then that way the pendant will stay close to my body, and I can run, and it won't be flopping around. It'll actually make the camera steadier when I have it attached to my chest and I'm filming, and then it'll just be way easier to use. So let me attach this. Check this out. Check this out. No flopping. No flopping. No flopping. I love creative problem solving.